Sir, Congressman Villafuerte, si Giselle po ito. Thanks for taking my call. Kamusta na po kayo? Salamat at nagkausap tayong muli. Grabe talaga ang pandemya. Update ko lang po kayo tungkol sa projects natin sa PAASE. Kailangan pa rin namin ang mahalaga ninyong tulong. Taus-pusang nagpapasalamat po kami mula sa PAASE, the Philippine American Academy of Science and Engineering, sa lahat ng tulong ninyo sa amin at sa buong akademya, especially the scientific community, mula nung ating PAASE campaign to increase government support for science and technology in February 2006. Alam po ninyo, kayo po ang foremost S&T champion ng PAASE. I cannot forget that day in February 2006. You called me on the cell phone a day after you received the set of PAASE S&T campaign materials that I had delivered to 60 government officials in the executive branch, the House of Representatives, and the Senate. You were the first and only government official to respond to PAASE. You told me that for early childhood education, we should make a list of skills that every child should master, starting with the 3 R's, reading, writing, arithmetic. Also make a list of 100 S&T projects and critical thinking and technical skills and competencies needed for our country's development. You said you always made sure to be the one to defend the DOST budget in Congress. It was clear you embraced the PAASE advocacy to build the S&T infrastructure and suprastructure, which is what I called our S&T human capital. Our mantra became, what good is infra without supra? Our missions and goals were in perfect synchrony. In August 2006, our PAASE campaign culminated with you bringing us to Malacanang for a meeting with President Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo. Earlier, you came to my laboratory at the UP Marine Science Institute to finalize our PowerPoint presentation to President GMA with meticulous attention to detail. At Malacanang, we presented 5 recommendations to PGMA. 1. Creation of a Presidential Coordination Council for R&D. 2. Revival of Masters and PhD Scholarships Program. 3. Completion of the National Science Complex in UP Diliman. 4. Support for R&D programs that would benefit rural communities, particularly the agriculture and fisheries sectors. And 5. Increase in public awareness of science. The rest is history. Your efforts with PAASE, UP, and the DOST resulted in the signing by President GMA of Executive Order 583, establishing the National Science Complex and the Technology Incubation Park in UP Diliman in December 2006. This was an unprecedented investment of the national government in S&T infrastructure, and you also found the source of funds for the 1.7 billion peso allocation. At the DOST, more funds were allocated to suprastructure for masters and PhD scholarships and more R&D projects. On February 16, 2007, President Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo was our special guest and keynote speaker at the International Science Conference of PAASE held at Century Park Hotel in Manila and hosted by then PAASE President Alvin Colaba of De La Salle University. Many PAASE stalwart members from the U.S. came home to attend this conference. In her speech, PGMA said, "In my State of the Nation address, in the portion drafted by Congressman Louis Villafuerte, I said that the country that wants to be a player in the global economy needs bold and well-funded research and development initiatives of its own, for in today's economy, knowledge is the greatest creator of wealth." Towards the end of PGMA's term, PAASE members, Secretary Alabastro and UP officials and faculty met with PGMA to thank her again and update her on the progress of the construction of the National Science Complex and on the initial results of some projects that were funded through the R&D funds provided through the PAASE campaign. This year, I called you about our new position paper, PAASE Recommendations for S&T Human Capital Development. Sir, we wrote the senators and congressmen you suggested, and we've gotten promising feedback so far. As you can see, the PAASE spirit remains vibrant. We resolve to continue pursuing our taglines, Agham at Kaalaman para sa Bayan, PAASE S&T Volunteerism, Outreach to Philippine Regions. So sadly, you have left our midst, but your spirit lives on in us. Madam President GMA, now PAASE is calling on more S&T champions in government, academia, and industry to transform our country to a competitive S&T knowledge-driven economy. Your legacy continues as the leadership of DOST has passed on from Secretary Alabastro to Secretary de la Peña, who served as Undersecretary under you and Secretary Alabastro. Secretary de la Peña's Knowledge to Action Science for Change program has taken root and is gaining ground in many regions of the country, and for this, PAASE has signed an MOU with the DOST to help carry out their programs. Maraming salamat po.